So thank you, Professor Minakshi Sood, for giving me an opportunity to interact with the participating teachers. And dear friends, as you know, this program is about curriculum design for OBE. Okay. Now, you see, the main focus, as you all know, of teaching is to bring about a desirable change in the behavior of learners, change in their knowledge, change in their skills, change in their attitudes, and it is brought about by the teacher using various instructional strategies, instructional methods, tactics to achieve instructional objectives. And for outcome based education, there is no specific instructional strategy which can be employed by the teacher to achieve the learning outcomes, to help the students attain the learning outcome. Teachers have been using the term instructional strategies, instructional method, instructional tactics interchangeably. Okay, let us first of all make a small difference between instructional strategy, instructional method, and instructional tactics. Instructional strategies, if I say, these are the general viewpoints, I would say, and line of action that a teacher adopts in order to choose or select an instructional method. So, a strategy which advocates active learner participation in the lesson will tend to minimize the use of the lecture method, in which the student is relatively passive, and promotes the choice of more learner active methods like group seminars, project work, individualized tutorials, or self instructional package. And these days the flipped classroom is becoming more popular amongst the teacher as well as amongst the students. Instructional method is a generic term which is used to mean the ways of doing something. These are some commonly There are some commonly recognized methods of teaching like lecture method, discussion method, tutorial method, and there are some individualized instructional methods in which the students are active, they proceed at their own pace, and are also provided with immediate knowledge of result. Now coming to instructional tactics, these are the specific ways that a teacher chooses to implement a particular instructional method in a particular case. So tactics can be used as a part of various methods. For example, say uh, bringing a novel demonstration in the classroom, how to ask question, how to gain students' attention, okay, how to reinforce their behavior, even how to respond to students' questions. So these are tactics. Now coming to uh, you see instruction strategy is a blueprint. Instruction method is an arrangement for facilitating learning, and these are the detailed activities. Now, you see, there are two types of learning. One is reception learning, another is the discovery learning. Now, in reception learning, whether it is rote memorization or meaningful learning, you see, meaningful learning is promoted if the student is able to relate what the teacher is telling with their background experiences or with the example from the word of work. So as a teacher, we need to relate the content with examples from the word of work or examples from the daily life. Only then the student will be able to associate what the teacher is telling with the experiences which he or she has in his long term memory, that is brain. So that is meaningful learning. Rote learning is kind of abstract learning where this association is not you see possible, because the teacher is not giving example, teacher is not integrating any kind of media. So in reception learning, whether it is rote memorization or meaningful learning, the entire content of what is to be learned is presented to the learner in the final form. The learning task doesn't involve any independent discovery on the part of student. The student is required only to internalize or incorporate the method, the material that is presented to him, so that it is available or reproducible at some later stage. Now, coming to the discovery learning, the principal content, the main content of what is to be learned is not given, but must be discovered by the learner before he can incorporate it meaningfully into his cognitive structure. So, the first phase of discovery learning involves a process. I think you will see that it is quite different from that of a reception learning. So, the learner must reorganize or transform the integrated combination, you see, in a manner as to generate a desired end product. So, for example, in case of discovery learning, we provide students, say, in a small class, in class of sixth grade, we provide them different types of acids, bases, and different types of litmus papers. Now, the students will manipulate, and ultimately they will come to discover that all acids turn blue litmus red and all bases turn red litmus blue. Likewise, you provide them different types of magnets, uh, iron and sand mixture, compass, and they will play with these material, and they will come to conclusion that repulsion is the sure test of magnetism. So discovery learning, where we are not giving the content in the beginning, they manipulate with the material and then they conclude. So discovery learning. Now, based upon these two types of learning, two strategies are emerged out. One is the expositive strategy, and I think this is a teacher-centered strategy. The teacher, you see, stands in front of the classroom and pours the information into the minds of the students. So it is based upon teacher presenting knowledge and skill by an exposition, either by talking, I would say using chalk and talk method, or offering handout or giving exercises, etc. Now, in this case, student receives the knowledge most passively. Consequently, this is called as reception learning. So, the steps are: the teacher is presenting information. It may be symbolic through explanation or practical through demonstration. Now, the second step is, I think this only few teachers do it. That is test for reception, recall, and understanding. That is, most of the time, the teachers employ only the first step of expositive strategy, that is lecture mode, that is presenting information. He stands stationary at one point and goes on explaining. Now, here you want to find out, usually by question answer strategy, if the first presentation has been understood by the student, if it has been received by the student, and if they can recall it by restating in their own words, giving correct examples, and if they cannot, It means as a teacher, you need to uh, present the content again, perhaps in a different format. Then the third step is presenting opportunities for student practice. Some teachers give them give students exercises in the classroom or maybe some homework. So you can ask the students to apply the journal information to a particular example and see how far they can apply the knowledge and skill or part of knowledge and skill which you as a teacher have demonstrated. And then next step is test for correct practice. Now here you are required to check the accuracy of the students' knowledge and skill practice, finding out if they have applied their knowledge correctly, ensuring student performance is accurate when they are practicing. And finally, giving them more opportunities for application, giving them chance to use their new learned information or skill on the actual job or real situations or real problems. So this is expositive strategy. We focus only the first step, we ignore the remaining four steps. Okay, so as a teacher, in order to make lecture more interactive, more effective, we need to use expositive strategy in a proper manner. Now coming to the discovery strategy, which involves discovery, you see, training through discovery by students. Basically, this strategy is a student-centered strategy. The first strategy was, अगर आप पहला ही step लगाते हैं, that focuses on teacher as a sage on the stage. Okay. Now, in discovery strategy, the teacher acts as a guide on the sides of the students. His role is to facilitate. So this is a student-centered strategy and is concerned with student finding out for themselves and learning through their own direct experiences. So here the students find out or discover the knowledge for themselves by experiencing the situation under the guidance of the teacher. So this is often called as discovery learning or experiential learning. Now the steps are, firstly, offer opportunities for discovery. You are not giving any input. You are giving the students a chance of doing something and seeing how it works out. Hopefully, by seeing, by observing the effects of their action, the student will be able to establish a relationship between cause and effect. I have given you example of magnetism and acid bases, etc. Then second is for understanding of cause and effect relationship. And this may be done by questioning or simply by observation of the reactions of the students. So offer more opportunities for discovery if necessary until they have they have an idea of how to fulfill an objective by acting in a particular way. Then test for learning either by questioning or by observing their activity, testing for the formation of the general conclusion or principle underlying the cases you have presented. So present further cases as required until the general rule or general principle has been learned by the students. And finally, giving more opportunities for application. So, as a teacher, you please check to ensure that the students can apply their newly learned information to real situations and problems. So, for OBE, for implementing OBE, the teacher needs to employ both the expositive strategies and discovery strategies. Now, let me present a small slide which presents before you the qualities of a good teacher. Firstly, a good teacher is confident. Confidence can be built if the teacher is a content master. If a teacher is proficient in his content area, only he can confidently interact with the student, respond to students' questions, and he himself be enjoying. He will always enter the classroom with an attitude that I am going to enjoy my students. Manner. He has to present a good mannerism, good attitude towards students, good attitude towards, you see, technology, his own subject, diligent, and he must, you see, show enthusiasm while teaching, not entering the class with an attitude, oh, today again there's a class. So he has to be very much active. He has to insert questions. He has to give smile while delivering lecture. Okay, not very looking very tense while teaching in the classroom. Now, there are basically three principles of good instruction. Preparation, planning is most important on the part of teacher. If he has prepared even a lecture, planned his lecture, and he also knows what to do and what not to do, he will be very much confident in the classroom, because planning keeps the teacher on the track. He will teach in a systematic way, not in a haphazard manner. Planning avoids the danger of covering more subject matter than the student can absorb. It avoids the danger of covering, or you can say, running out of the material, kam na pad jaye. And when you are preparing a plan, you are also anticipating the likely questions that the student may ask you in the classroom. So questions come to you, and if you have given replies to their entire satisfaction, students will be happy and you are also more confident. And you have to promote a desire to learn among the students, and that you have to sustain, you have to maintain throughout the lecture. And this is by using large number of events of instruction, by uh, integrating the content with the media, with the examples from daily life, examples from the word of work. So this, all these activities will help you to gain the attention of the students. Gaining attention throughout lecture is the most important part. So I must tell you that there are large number of videos available on YouTube, ranging from 1 minute to 1 hour session. As a teacher, you need to identify those videos. You can note down the link. You can pass on the link to the students. You can make a WhatsApp group of your class. If in case the class doesn't have the LCD projector, so when you are delivering instruction and you think that there is a need to integrate a particular video, you can tell your students, now you can watch this video. Okay, so that will help, that will motivate them. And you have to confirm that your instructions, your ideas have been received well by students. And this is when you are asking few questions in between the lecture. Okay. I was talking about, you see, effective instruction. Effective instruction is that if I say something to you, one student says, sir, if I hear, I may forget. If you show us, we may remember. And if you involve us, we will be always with you. That is, when you are giving them hands on experiences, they will be able to do, they will be able to understand, they will be able to retain the knowledge for a longer period of time. So, spectrum of instructional methods range from teacher centered to student centered. Teacher centered mainly chalk and talk, dialogue. Then you can bring in more activity based learning, and then computer assisted instruction, computer assisted learning, or you see the flipped classroom. These are you see when you are uh, acting as a guide on the sides, then students become more active, they become more alert, and they participate actively in the classroom activities. Now, there are 9 events of instruction. If you are following lecture method or demonstration method, you need to know what are the various types of events of instruction, because these will help you to move from where the students are at the beginning of a lecture to the attainment of capabilities identified as the lecture's learning outcomes. Now, let us see uh, at what stage these event of instruction can be employed. Firstly, it is gaining attention, and you will agree with me that it has to be throughout the lecture. Gaining attention, the purpose is to alert the student to the reception of the stimulus. You are presenting, you see, content. You need to bring variation in the presentation of stimulus. There are a number of tactics which you can employ to gain the attention of the students. Firstly, you need to, you see, present lecture with a very good introduction. Many teachers begin their lecture with a note: today my lecture is this. Today I am going to talk to you about this thing. Today I will discuss. Now you see what could be the students' reaction. They would say, sir, this is your headache. Please go and break your head. Because the students want to know why they are sitting and why this topic. Let me give you one example how to introduce the lecture very well. You have kept one object on the table and ask your students, what is the position of this object? Is it at rest or is it moving? Okay. Now, definitely, the students will say that it is at rest. Wonderful. Now, you can switch on the fan and ask another question. What is the position of this fan? They will say, sir, it is in motion. Wonderful. Now, this object is lying on the table. It is at rest position. How can we put into motion? They will say, sir, by pushing or by pulling, it can be put into motion. Good. You are sitting in a moving bus and the driver suddenly applies brakes. What happens? They have already observed. They will say, sir, we go forward. And what happens when the driver suddenly start the bus? Sir, we go backward. Why are these due to? Now students are quite motivated. They are curious. They are anxious to know why. Because this topic is meant for a student of class 5. Then you say that these are due to laws of inertia. So today in this session, we will learn laws of inertia. We will learn laws of inertia. Never say I will teach, I will discuss. Today's my topic is this. Then you go to board, and in the middle top of the board, you write the topic laws of inertia. And on the left hand side, you give them an overview of your lecture. That first of all, you will be able to define inertia, inertia of rest, inertia of motion, inertia of direction, and examples. This is one technique to gain the attention, to motivate the student, to create their interest. Second is, never stand stationary at the lecture stand, because if you are standing at lecture stand, there is no movement. Students are watching you at a particular angle. They will tolerate you for some time. After that, they will experience fatigue. So bring purposeful movement. Go towards left side slowly, stand for a while, and look and give your glance to that section of the class. Then move towards the right, or move in between if there is a passage. Because when you come closer to your student, they become very much alert. क्योंकि आप आंख चुरा के देख सकते हो कि कहीं आपकी फोटो या फूल पत्ती तो नहीं बन रही. So purposeful movements. Secondly, meaningful gestures. Many teachers, particularly male teachers, they put their hands in their pockets. So you have to supplement with gestures, show movement of hand. Then change of voice modulation. When you say these are due to laws of inertia, speak very loudly. You are giving emphasis on laws of inertia. These are due to laws of inertia. उसमें आपने pause भी दिया. This is another technique to gain the attention. Then change in interactional pattern. And I think interaction is two-way. Now, if you go on speaking, only one way of communication is involved. Now you can insert one or two questions. You can invite one or two questions. Now the students will participate. They will be active rather than passive in the classroom. Then another is oral visual switching. Oral involves sense of hearing. Visual involves sense of sight. Now you have oral visual switching. Oral involves sense of hearing. Visual involves sense of sight. Now you are speaking. Only students are hearing you, or some students are listening to you, because there is a difference between hearing and listening. If you are giving some abstract information, they are not able to understand. So they are simply hearing. But if you are concretizing the abstract information, how you are concretizing? That is by giving examples, by relating with the, you see, by integrating some media. Now they will listen to you. Okay, listening is with understand. So change, यानी oral visual switching. Oral involves sense of hearing. आपने बोला कुछ. Now you have shown some video. You have written main point on the chalkboard. They will also note down in their notebook. Okay, oral visual switching. And use verbal markers of importance also. Now note this. Now let me come to perhaps one of the most important point of all. So this is gaining attention. Okay, and the most important one is maintaining an eye contact with each and every student sitting in the classroom. Many a time the teacher gives his glance on the front bench students and ignores the last benchers. So they will tolerate you for some time, and after that they will indulge in daydreaming, and they will try to play some other activity which you are not knowing. So that is why I told you that bring purposeful movements. Go towards left slowly, stand there for some time, go towards right, maybe you can go towards end also, So they will be alert. So this is gaining attention is throughout the lecture. Then comes informing students about objectives of instruction, because when you enter the class, students want to know why they are sitting in the classroom. So this event should occur twice. Firstly, during after you have introduced your lecture, you are giving them a list of learning outcome. You can give an overview of your lecture on the chalkboard, or you can give the overview of your lecture on the first transparency, first slide. Then before leaving the classroom, okay, that is you are summarizing today's presentation. Then you say tomorrow we'll take up this particular concept wherein you will be able to do this. That is, you are giving an overview of tomorrow's lecture. So in this way you can maintain a continuity in your teaching. Then coming, ensuring prerequisites of learner. Now, many times we start delivering lecture with an assumption that students are knowing about some prerequisites, because certain prerequisites are necessary for a new topic. Now, you have to ensure that they possess those prerequisites. For example, I have taken the topic on inertia. Yesterday, I have discussed about the concept of rest, concept of motion, and concept of force. Now, today I have to take up inertia. So I asked some question about rest, motion, and force. And this can also happen in between the lecture. For example, you are doing some derivation where you require to put the value of f as m into a. Now, instead of saying yourself, you may ask one question. Uh, Students, in the last semester, we have understood the relationship between force and acceleration. Can you tell me what is the relation between force and acceleration? Okay. So it means you are helping them to recall the previously learned material. This is ensuring prerequisites. Then presenting stimulus material with the by providing varied learning experiences. Then you have asked one question, one student, you have asked him to answer the question, and you have noticed that he is not coming forward, he is hesitating. So you can break down that question into one or two small questions. The idea is to give him hint. You have given some exercise, you are giving some clue, so there is a clue, this is a hint for you. So that is providing learning guidance. Another is asking him to show, eliciting performance. So you have drawn the circuit diagram. You please come to the board and draw the circuit diagram. Now you can show me your diagram. So after seeing his or her response or diagram, you are required to give immediate feedback, constructive feedback, informative feedback. वंडरफुल, यहाँ पर ये जो लाइन है टेढ़ी हो गई है, यू आर गिविंग हिम कंस्ट्रक्टिव फीडबैक. And then assessing student performance. It can be throughout the lecture, and even at the end of a lecture you can use a very good you can say technique, that is a Google form. You can prepare say 20 multiple choice question on that particular topic, and before the class is over, you can give them 10 minutes and then give them the Google form in their WhatsApp and give them 10 minutes time. You will get the responses immediately. And आप इसको कर भी दीजिए कि भाई जो इंटरनल असेसमेंट है दिस विल बी बेस्ड अपॉन से वीकली क्विज और डेली क्विज. यू मेक इट ट्रांसपेरेंट कि ये जो दे विल कीप ऑन एडिंग, तो जो मार्क्स आएंगे वही आपका इंटरनल असेसमेंट होगा. तो असेसिंग स्टूडेंट परफॉर्मेंस, एंड देन enhancing retention and transfer. Now, for this, you are giving them some homework. Now, once the student is able to transfer whatever he has learned in the class for solving the problem at home, it means he has successfully transferred the knowledge. So that will help him or her retain the knowledge for a longer period of time. So enhancing retention. So these are 9 events of instruction. These will be very helpful for all the teachers to make their lecture effective, to make their demonstration very effective. Okay. Now coming to the lecture method, I will go quickly. The purpose is to provide factual information, explain concept, procedure, summarize information. You can present lecture to introduce course material, to clarify relationship. Now the question is, when the lectures are not appropriate. Lectures are not appropriate when the you see affective and psychomotor domain is concerned. As far as cognitive domain is concerned, lectures are sufficient up to, I would say, understanding part. You have known the Bloom's taxonomy. Cognitive domain has 6 levels, and at the lowest level is remembering. Then comes understanding, applying, analyzing, evaluating, and creating. For reaching up to understanding, lectures are sufficient. Lectures are not appropriate when the content is abstract. You need to concretize. For concretizing the abstract content, you need demonstration method or some other methods. We'll take up those methods one by one. There are two types of lecture: one-way lecture, two-way lecture. Now, one-way lecture is a method of imparting instruction where a teacher teaches a group exclusively by one-way communication, usually by talking at the students. He is simply pouring the information. He's standing in front of the class and pouring the information. And this kind of lecture is very cost effective. Why? Because you don't require any planning preparation, very easy to prepare. You can cover more content matter in less time. And basically, it is helpful in imparting the lower level of cognitive domain, that is remembering. Okay, only remembering you are giving them. Now, the shortcomings are that there is no feedback from the student because you are not allowing them to ask question. They are inactive. They sit as passive learner. So more emphasis is on teacher, and it is poor at developing higher mental skill, that is understanding, applying, analyzing, and so on. Now we have two-way lecture where one teacher teaches a group exclusively by two-way communication, usually by talking at and with the group and by involving students in learning activities. तो जितनी शॉर्टकमिंग्स वन वे लेक्चर में थे वो सारी इसमें कवर अप हो जाती हैं. एंड यू कैन ऑल्सो employ multi-way communication where one student is allowed to talk to another student. Also there are group discussions, all these students. So now, first of all, you have to prepare your lecture. While preparing your lecture, you need to formulate the learning outcomes, prepare the content outline. For this, you can carry out task analysis, assure the prerequisites. You have to select instructional method, media, instruction media, material, learning activities. You have to plan for motivating and reinforcement technique. You have to plan for assessment procedure, and you have to also you also need to have a backup plan. For example, say you have thought of developing your lecture with the help of PowerPoint presentation. Now you are in the class, the electricity goes, okay, you are now left with no option. Okay, let us wait for the electricity or we'll take up this session tomorrow. No, this is wrong. You can bring the PowerPoint handout. You can say, okay, we'll develop our lecture on the chalkboard, because chalkboard is always available. And another is, if you are delivering a lecture for the first time in a particular institution, in a particular room, you can visit that room in advance. You can familiarize yourself with the layout of the classroom, chair, desk, and so on, and the front of the classroom. So एकदम से आपको हड़बड़ी नहीं होगी, आप जो है एकदम से, बिकॉज यू नो कहाँ पर पावर प्लग है, कहाँ पर क्या है, क्या क्या है, सो सो ये तीन तरह के ऑब्जेक्टिव्स हैं, ये ऑलरेडी मैम ने कवर कर दिए होंगे. कॉग्निटिव डोमेन refers to intellectual outcomes and it has got 6 levels and it can be tested through paper and pencil test. Affective domain is measured through observation. It is basically concerned with attitude, your feelings, your interest, emotions, values. And psychomotor domain is through practical test. So refers to motor skill development. Preparing a teaching outline. You can do a task analysis. For example, there is one topic, hmm, or task can be a job, say setting up a lathe or verification of Ohm's law. Skill is the further extension of job. It is a small act, that is uh, keeping one object from one place to another place. Small act. Okay. Now, say there is one topic, say any topic from theory subject. For teaching that topic, you need to explain first of all this part, then this part, then this part, this part. This is 45 minutes duration lecture or 1 hour duration lecture. You have broken down the topic into 5 broad subtopics. This is the level 1 analysis. Then for teaching this one, you need to explain this one and this one. For teaching this part, you need to explain these 5 units. Then this is second level. Then the third level. This can be understood only once the student is able to understand all these subunits. And level 4 and so on. So you go on breaking down till the task becomes self-sufficient. That is, no more information is to be told to the student. And you see that the topic was less detailed at the top and it was too much detailed at the bottom. So you will start teaching from the bottom side, okay, from this side. ये तीनों पढ़ लेंगे तो ये समझ आ जाएगा, ये तीनों समझ आ जाएंगे तो ये समझ आ जाएगा, ये तीनों समझ आ जाएंगे तो ये, पहले आप ये वाला पार्ट शुरू करेंगे, फिर ये वाला पार्ट, फिर ये वाला, देन दिस वन, एंड देन दीज. So first of all analysis, then synthesis. Now the delivery part, introduction, arouse curiosity, create interest. So आपका जो इंट्रोडक्शन है ये बहुत ही स्ट्रॉन्ग होना चाहिए. द पर्पस इज टू create their interest. You can review the prerequisites. You can explain the rationale or the significance of the topic, why this topic is important or interesting. Okay. Then give them an overview of lecture, that is write down learning outcomes on the left hand side of the chalkboard, or you can have the learning outcome on the first slide of your PowerPoint presentation. Now, during development stage, you need to ensure that the content is covered within the time available to you, and you need to provide a logical organization, yes, one by one. from simple to difficult. You may use some explaining links also, like because, in order to, if, then, therefore, consequently, the, or using verbal markers of importance while developing. Now note this, it is especially important to realize that it will help you a great deal to understand this if you remember that. So now let me turn to what is perhaps the most important point of all that, like this. Then, maintaining attention, ये मैंने ऑलरेडी बता दिया. So stimulus variation, facial expression, when you enter, smile at them. Maxims of teaching: proceed from simple to difficult, proceed from known to unknown, proceed from observation to reasoning, proceed from concrete to abstract. Okay. Physical activity, you may note down, this is the important point. Okay. Involve their participation. लैंग्वेज के ऊपर कमांड होना चाहिए. रेट ऑफ डिलीवरी is should be according to the you see pace of the students. Voice, continuity, reinforcement, integrating media, asking question, providing information, providing feedback, or sometimes you can use humor also, appropriate, and showing enthusiasm that I am interested. Then the last stage in a lecture is consolidation. You are required to summarize, or you can assign this type of duty to the student. आज रोल नंबर 1 जो है, he will make a summarization of what of my lecture. कल रोल नंबर 2 करेगा. तो in this way student will be alert and they will also contribute in the summarization of lecture. So evaluation के लिए you can give them a Google form questionnaire, or you can ask question orally, give them assignments, and most important is, please give them a list of references, web links. से आपने गूगल में कुछ इंपॉर्टेंट उस टॉपिक से रिलेटेड इंफॉर्मेशन आइडेंटिफाई किया है, उसका लिंक दे दीजिए. वीडियो इज अवेलेबल ऑन यूट्यूब, उसका लिंक दे दीजिए. कमिंग टू डेमोन्स्ट्रेशन मेथड. So this method combines the verbal explanation with a live display using equipment, apparatus for presenting important facts, ideas, and processes. And through demonstration method, we can help our students attain knowledge, skills, and attitude. तीनों डोमेन के लिए बहुत ही important है. And you can demonstrate concept, you can demonstrate principle, you can demonstrate skill also. And criteria, you have to plan, you have to rehearse well in advance. You also need to clear about the purpose of your demonstration, and that purpose of demonstration must be communicated to the students also. You have to ensure that your demonstration is visible by all the students. If you are demonstrating with some model, the different parts of the model should have contrasting color. And while giving demonstration, your voice should be loud enough so that all the students are able to hear you. You have to arrange material in a sequence. You have to note down these steps one by one on the chalkboard while you are making a presentation, while you are giving a demonstration. And demonstration when you are making in the classroom, it should not be very lengthy, and you should not be in a hurry, because your demonstration is being watched by your student for the first time. So go slowly, step by step, noting down the steps on the chalkboard. And for the demonstration, you can also prepare a small handout and you can distribute that handout at the end. And you need to also continually check that your demonstration is being understood. This you can do by asking few questions during the demonstration. Seminar method, a kind of group discussion where one learner or several learner prepares a paper on a given topic, issue, or problem, which is then presented to the whole group for discussion and analysis. So what you can do is you identify one topic, You are not teaching that topic. You can divide that topic into, say, 6 or 7 components. Now, distribute those 7 parts amongst the volunteers. First of all, volunteers. Okay. Then you give them the outline of that particular part, give them 1 day, 2 days. Now, on the day of seminar, the students will be presenting their respective parts one by one. Your role is to supplement कहाँ पर student ने gap दिया, and it is followed by, you see, group discussion. So this involves exchange of information, views, ideas, and recollection of experiences. Group becomes independent because they will go to library, they will prepare, they will search for the information in the Google and so on. And through seminar, the students will be, you see, they can go up to the creating stage. You have to also through this they can practice presentation skills, and through seminar we can inculcate good attributes among them, that is listening to others viewpoint, having some patience. Now, during presentation and discussion, there are 2 stages. So role of teacher when preparing is selecting students, topics for discussion, acquainting them with summary, give them some you see outline, and have one session before the seminar day. Role of the teacher when running the seminar, you have to be in the background. Rather, you can help your presenter when they are in need, when essential. You can also resolve any problem and evaluate at the end. Now, role of the presenter is to prepare the paper, consult teacher, and avoid sidetracking. What is the role of other learners? To act as interested audience. You please ask all the students to prepare for that lecture. ये नहीं कि सिर्फ 5 या 6 बच्चों ने प्रिपेयर करना है, आप भी प्रिपेयर करेंगे, लेकिन बाकी क्लास वाले भी करेंगे. एट द एंड यू कैन, I must tell you that in foreign countries, uh, many professors are employing seminar method of imparting instruction, that the topics are assigned to all the students on the very first day of the session. All the students are preparing, but one student is required to present on that particular topic. Now all the students will participate, the teacher will supplement, and at the end the teacher will give them a questionnaire. The evaluation is done there and then. So this topic is over. This is a very useful method. The students can become independent. Then comes group discussion method. So here, group of learners expresses their different views, and they arrive at some conclusion through mutual understanding, conclusion through the clarification of idea. So this is useful when learners have some prior knowledge on the subject, or you want to pool their experiences depending upon their understanding of the principles involved, or that they need to know others' point of view for modifying their own fixed ideas. For this, you need to train your students to apply knowledge, think critically, solve problems, explore merits of a subject, and create new interest. Stages: one is planning and preparing for group discussion and conducting GD. Now, planning and preparing for group discussion. First of all, determine the objective, determine the size of group, make an outline for group discussion, consider the prerequisites. As a teacher, you need to anticipate the problems or controversies that could arise during group discussion. Ensure physical arrangement in the classroom, including acoustics and lighting, etc. Conducting group discussion. So, form a group. They can sit in a circular fashion. Select one learner as a moderator to note down the important points. Give them 15 and 20 minutes. And then the moderator has to present his views, analyze the observation of the group. Now, your role is to see that all the students are participating. If one of the student doesn't speak, then you can give him at the end some time to speak on that particular topic. Another is sometimes you can use the panel discussion method also, that select a topic and then select 3 or 4 speakers. This would be listened by all these participants, and then a general group discussion would be held at the end. So panel can raise issue, can provide fact and stimulate interest. So through this we can promote interaction. And sometimes the panels may not discuss in a systematic way, and sometimes you get lot of ideas and very difficult to summarize, and control of panelists is sometimes become very difficult, and sometimes some areas are left uncompleted. So discussion by panelist, general discussion by whole group. One of the panelists can act as a chairperson to monitor the discussion. He will introduce the topic and subtopics that the other panelists would be discussing. And selecting topic, panelists brief each panelist about topic, date, time, size, and nature of audience. During the panel discussion, arrange seating arrangement, begin discussion with a short introduction. You can monitor discussion, and during the journal discussion, invite contributions, and your role as a teacher is to fill in any gap. You need to monitor the discussion. Brainstorming, this can also be used uh, in uh, in some session, in some topic where you want to generate the ideas of the students. So purpose is to give their ideas quickly. So it's a creative group work in which group members produce large number of ideas on a topic quickly for subsequent evaluation. They are free to give any kind of idea, because sometimes even a stupid idea can work in a particular situation. So आपको encourage करना है, please come out with a number of ideas. For example, say I want to give you one small task. What are the unusual uses of bricks? Unusual uses of bricks. The usual use of brick is to construct a building. But what are the unusual uses? जिसको आप बोलते हैं जुगाड़ टेक्नोलॉजी, है ना? तो immediately give a number of ideas. So this can be used as an icebreaker. Define and focus on the subject. Encourage creativity, require not much preparation, but it is not a systematic way of studying. Some are reluctant to participate, sometimes difficult to summarize many ideas made by the group. Tutorial method. Why? Because here you can give your personal touch to every student. You can fill in their gaps in understanding, and sometime in a classroom students do not approach for clarification because of lack of confidence. because of a heavy work schedule of teacher and student. So tutorial method is a discussion between teacher and a small group where a student is presenting a paper, or where the student is presenting a problem, and it is discussed and the teacher will provide some guidance. So you need to consider individual differences. Firstly, establish rapport with them. Okay, ये थोड़ा सा टाइम कंज्यूमिंग जरूर है. Now simulation and games, particularly in management, which combines the qualities of a game, player, rules, competition. Players observe and analyze the effect of the relationship between the material, people, information, and messages. You can promote motivation and interest, and through simulation and games, uh, we can also practice social skills. Role playing method can also be used. It is highly student centered, particularly in English language or communication. We may employ role playing method also. Project work method is used in all subjects, where the students are given small project, and the stages are that selection of the project, planning for the project. You will write an overview listing resources, sequencing, scheduling, recording, assessment schedule, evaluation, then execution of the project. And the student will need to know how to write a report and how to evaluate a project. This is also a very useful case study method. uh, Many teachers use this kind of method in civil engineering, mechanical engineering, where they are presenting some situation and they are asking the students to you see give their solution. Okay, the wonderful method. So you are reconstructing a real life situation, and this situation can be read by one student or a small group of students. They can apply their mind to solve the problem, and then they arrive at some decision for the purpose of establishing general principles. So it is nothing but a written account of problem or situation as encountered, explained with some background and complexity of the situation, and provides details of what happened during the situation or problem described. So I think, I let me tell you that writing a case is not an easy task. If you are thorough in that subject, and you have experienced some difficulty, and you have presented the situation and explained certain background and also complexity, then at the end you can give some problems. So writing a case requires expertise and time. Purpose is to diagnose what the problem or issues in the case are and why they have occurred. So through this we can develop analytical and problem solving skills, and these allow for exploration of solutions for complex issues, and allow students to apply new knowledge and skills. Disadvantages: student may not see the relevance to own situation. Insufficient information sometimes is given, it can lead to inappropriate results and not suitable for skill related you see learning outcome. Steps: first of all, you need to gain an overview of the case. So ask the student to read the case quickly to gain familiarity with the major events and characters, and to note what seems to be the central problem. Note that case studies often contain substantial information, with information presented sometimes in a very unorganized manner. Case studies usually present information chronologically. So establish what has happened, that is the objective. Ask the students to go over the case in greater detail to establish a clear picture of what has happened. Establish who, what, where, and when of the situation. And once the problem has been identified, they would most hope to see for the organization, and they can also let students know they are the consultants on this case, and you can quantify the result. Then determine the causes, and then try to separate symptoms from problem and rank order the critical problem. Then analyzing the case, so develop possible solution, not one solution. Then evaluate all the solution and see which solution can solve the problem in a cost effective manner, that is with few resources. It can be, so you can weigh all the options, and then you need to choose the appropriate solution and then formulate recommendation. Evaluate these solutions. Okay. Then computer assisted instruction. Computer has got very good capability to store large amount of information. The speed is very fast, and you can also employ interactive graphics. So you can present information to learner, receive his or her response. This is a very wonderful technique of using this one. Okay, I can now present before you uh, one small video. Okay, before that, the flipped classroom. So a flipped classroom is one that inverts the typical cycle of content acquisition. That is, in a lecture method, you are passing on the information in the class and giving them some exercises for carrying out at home. Now, flipped classroom is the reverse of traditional teaching. Here, the e-content in the form of self-learning material along with videos you are giving them in their WhatsApp group, or you are you see uploading the content and videos on the website of your institute. Students can download the material, they can study the material at home, and in the classroom actual problem solving will be carried out. Let me tell you that most modern institutes and world over, now they are focusing on flipped classroom, because here every student can read the material at his or her own pace. He can watch the video again and again. You see, in a classroom the teacher speaks once, and if sometimes the teacher you see speaks at a very high rate. So this kind of teaching has been now becoming more popular. Now let me show you one small video. Now this video is on computer assisted instruction, and I have developed it on PowerPoint only, because for this you need to know very difficult software like authorware or toolbook, but I have improvised on PowerPoint presentation. You see, in a PowerPoint presentation, if you press any key or click mouse on the screen, you will get the next screen. But here I have blocked I have locked the keyboard and mouse and created buttons. Now I'll show you the video.
Perfect. Welcome, dear learners, to massive open online course on self-learning material development. Dear learners, you have already understood the process of design and development of computer-assisted self-instructional material. In this video, you will have a feel of computer-assisted self-instructional material. Let us take an example of uniform and non-uniform velocity from the subject of physics. And the beauty of this CAI package is that it is developed using only PowerPoint presentation. And here we have locked the mouse and we have also locked the keyboard. We have created buttons. Unless the learner presses a particular button, the next screen will appear. So uniform and non-uniform velocity. Now let us start with. So as already informed you that the first screen will display the instructional objectives. That is, at the end of the session, you will be able to. So there are two types of objective written. One is the broad objective and second is the learning outcomes. So understand the concept of average speed, no uniform and no non-uniform velocity, understand the concept of acceleration, and learning outcomes are calculate the average speed of a body, identify from the given example whether an object is accelerated, and state the SI units of acceleration. Now in this screen you will have three buttons: home, previous, and next. Now we'll move to next. Now, in this slide, we want to test the prerequisites possessed by the learner. So, some questions are given. For example, if your car is moving at a speed of 60 km per hour in first 2 hours and 72 km per hour for next 2 hours, it means your car is moving with. Now, there are four options, and the student will select one of these four options. Let us say the option is B, non-uniform speed. Now, the feedback is presented to the student. It is stated, well, your answer is correct. Now, his answer is being reinforced, and the reasoning is also given why he has chosen the right answer. Now, you can move to the next question. Next question: SI unit of velocity are meter per second, centimeter per second, kilometer, and meter per second square. Let us take answer A as the correct answer. So your answer is correct. Again, the student is being reinforced and the reasoning is also given. Now he has to move to the next question. Now you have to move to the next question. Velocity is a vector quantity because it is determined by, again, there are four options. So let us see both magnitude and direction. C option is correct. Now click here and you will find the feedback. Now this man is walking with a velocity of 2 km per hour in west direction. It means it contains both the magnitude as well as the direction. Now next. Now the input is given, and already you have studied that the matter is divided into small inputs, and the language is quite simple and interactive. Now let us read it. On her way to Agra, Anjali travels by her car, which is moving at a speed of 50 km per hour for first hour and 60 km per hour for next hour. What is average speed of car? Well, average speed, this is new term for you. Now you will study about average speed. The question which comes in mind is it necessary that an object covers equal distances in equal intervals of time? No, it is not possible. An object cannot cover equal distance in equal intervals of time. For example, while traveling in a car, it is not possible to keep car at a constant speed. So it is better to express speed in terms of average speed. So you see that the matter is presented in interactive tone. Now we move to next screen. When we travel in a vehicle, the speed of vehicle changes from time to time depending upon the conditions existing on the road. So in such a situation, the speed is calculated by the ratio of the total distance traveled by the vehicle to the total time taken for the journey. And this is called as the average speed. Now you will notice that the main idea is presented in different font color, font type you can use differently. So there is one animation. Now next. If an object covers a distance s1 in time t1, distance s2 in time t2, and distance sn in time tn, then the average speed is given by this formula. So again, the main idea is given in a rectangle, and it is given in bold letters, different font color, font type. So thus, when we say that the car travels at an average speed of 60 kilometer per hour, it doesn't mean that the car would be moving with the speed of 60 kilometer per hour throughout the journey. Now, next screen, there is one inbuilt practice task question. A car travels 100 km at a speed of 50 km per hour and returns with a speed of 40 km per hour. What is the average speed of whole journey? Now, the student can take his own time and he can calculate. Say the answer is C, 44.4 km per hour. So again, his answer is being reinforced. The calculation is also given, and now he will move to the next screen. You can take an example of a car. As in the case of uniform speed, car will have uniform velocity if it covers equal distance in equal intervals of time, no matter how small these time intervals may be, but in a specified direction in a straight line. So in this example, car will be having uniform velocity only if it travels 30 km per hour in same direction. Now you can move to the next once you have read this material. But what will happen if car changes its direction? Yes, change in direction will lead to a change in the velocity of the car. So velocity of car will not remain uniform as given in the definition. So let us think over how can we change velocity of a body. There are two ways. One is you change the speed of the body or change the direction of the body by keeping speed constant. Next, now you can take an example. Two athletes, Ram and Sham, are running with a uniform speed of 5 meters per second. Ram is running on a straight track. Now this animation is here. Sham moves on a circular track. For a layman, both Ram and Sham are moving with uniform velocity, but for a physicist only. Of course, Ram is running with uniform velocity because there is no change in his speed and direction of motion. Whereas in case of Shyam, who is running along a circular track, the direction of motion is changing at every instant as circle is polygon with infinite sides and Shyam has to change his direction at every instant. So now he can move to the next slide, or if he wants to study the previous slide, he can click the previous button. Okay, now let us move to next. So you can now define these terms. A body is said to be moving with uniform velocity if it covers equal distances in equal intervals of time in a specified direction. So a body is said to be moving with variable velocity if it covers unequal distances in equal intervals of time and vice versa in a specified direction, or if it changes the direction of the motion. Now next slide. Let us take an example. Car is moving on a road. What about its velocity? Will it be uniform or not? Answer to this problem is velocity of car is not uniform because even if the speed of car is constant, the car is changing its direction continually. This is the case of changing velocity, that is velocity is variable or non-uniform velocity. Next slide. Now you can check your understanding. A bus is moving on hilly road with speed of 20 km per hour. It means bus is moving with non-uniform velocity. So you are correct. So again, the feedback is given. Next slide. This problem has given rise to the new concept in the field of motion, and that is acceleration. So what is acceleration? Let us take an example of a car. It starts from rest, that is its initial velocity is 0. At 0 second, v is 0. After 5 seconds, v is 10 meter per second. After 10 seconds, it is 20 meter per second. In this situation, car is changing its velocity by 10 meter per second after every 5 seconds. Now next, car is accelerating. So again, there is some animation. The data is given. In above example, car changes its velocity after every 5 seconds. If the velocity of the car increases, the body is said to be accelerating. Now you can define the concept of acceleration. Now the formula is given in a rectangle and a different font color, different font type. Next. Now you can try to answer this. So again, there is one question given here. Now you can move to next slide. try to find answer to this problem. Say a car starting from rest acquires a velocity of 36 kilometer per hour in 5 seconds. Its acceleration is. So using that formula given in the previous slide, you can find out the answer. Say answer is B. So your answer is correct. Again, feedback is given. So next slide. Well, the term acceleration need not always mean that the velocity of a moving body is always increasing. It can also decrease, remain the same, or become zero. Now, one example is given here. So train starts from rest and gains a speed of 100 meter per second. That is, it accelerates after some time. Now, this illustration is given here, and the relevant content is also given. Now, magnitude and direction of acceleration changes with changing velocity of a body. So here again illustration is given, and you can take some of the illustrations from the website. Now, end session test, that average speed is equal to, so say answer is D. So your answer is correct. Okay, your answer is being reinforced. A body moving with a constant speed of 20 meter per second and following a zigzag path has, say, non-uniform velocity. Say answer is B. Your answer is correct. So next, the SI unit of acceleration is, say, meter per second square. Say you have chosen B as the right answer. So it will say that your answer is not correct because acceleration is this, unit of acceleration is this. So your answer is not being reinforced. Now next. So at the end, the whole chapter is summarized. So the main points are highlighted in the simple language, and at the end, thank you very much. So it means you can either go to the previous slide or you can go to the home page. So home page was this uniform and non-uniform velocity. So dear learners, in this video you have.
So now I must stop here. तो मैंने आपको एक स्पेसिमन दिया है, दैट इज यू कैन ऑल्सो develop self-learning material or computer-assisted instruction material for your students. You can provide them in their WhatsApp, or you can upload the material on the website, so that can be used by the students. They can study themselves. They can read at their own pace. As I said, for OBE, there is no single specified instruction strategy. You need to employ multiple instruction strategy to help students attain learning outcomes at various levels.
Sir, for MBA inspection committee, but they are checking the documents, but they are not asking the which instruction methodology you are followed. They said that show the proof of assessment, show the proof of test paper, like that they asked. They are not asked what type of strategy and instruction you are followed, like that
But
they are
they
not asked.
might be, but they might be checking your lesson plans. So lesson plans must they can do you can include the different types of instruction method in your lesson plan. And moreover, this is not for showing to NBA people. This is for making teaching learning very effective, and that is for the students. You are helping them, the students. This is not for the NBA. लेसन प्लान तो
What I am
बनाते हो ना आप,
writing,
लेसन प्लान में तो यू कैन राइट.
OBA, this outcome-based education is mainly all the institutions are followed mainly for our MBA accreditation. Is it right?
दैट इज ओके, लेकिन क्लासरूम लेक्चर को यू हैव टू मेक इट
Okay,
वेरी
okay,
इफेक्टिव.
okay, okay.
दिस इज फॉर योर स्टूडेंट्स.